Hello and welcome to the new Power BI dashboard tutorial. And in this tutorial, I want to give you a quick walkthrough of how I have created this. So what I will be showing you the component, each of the component, and obviously prior to that, the data, what is the data and how you can access the data. Then mainly I wanted to quickly show you just one more dashboard, financial complaint dashboard, and you can see a different type of a design that has been created, which is based on the dark theme. So I will show you what I have done and how I have put everything here. And then each of these components, which I have been showing also in my previous videos, where if you see, I have this tutorial sheet in which I have been creating the sales, have created a sales performance and customer analytics dashboard and even the Twitter. So I have shown you step by step how to do each, how to create each component, and even in the previous tutorials. So this one, I will not going to repeat the same thing, but I will just make it a little bit quick so that you will get to know just to the point information. Also, this video is something you should view before this dashboard, because some of the functionality I'm using this one in this dashboard. So just for the reference, if you have absolutely no idea as to how to create dashboard or how to create components within the Power BI, what I suggest is view these dashboards first. And this is slightly advanced and not exactly step-by-step repetition, but a step-by-step walkthrough of each of the component that is here in this dashboard. And before that, just a quick information that the sheet that you are seeing it over here, it is a live Google Sheet, and this link is present in the description so that you can come here and quickly see all of my, or quickly search all of my videos, let's say by any particular topic, because I have posted what this is like 166th video. So, and I am keeping, as you can see, all of my video link here in the column B. So search for a video and jump to the video using the link present in the column B. All right, with that information, where I need to start is basically with the data set first. So over here, I have this data set, which is nothing but the financial complaint. So you have what complaint ID, when it was submitted, what is the product, sub-product, issue, sub-issue, what is the company response, company, what is the company name, Cumulus Financial, state, Florida, California, New York, and all that. And you have zip code and the tags, whether the consumer consent provided, not provided, or NA, or consumer consent withdrawn, a different field where that is related to consumer consent, complaint submitted via what, web or referral or phone or postal email, how it is submitted, the date it received. So you have two dates, when it was submitted and when it is received. And the company response to consumer is basically these responses, like whether it is closed with explanation, monetary relief, non-monetary relief, relief, without relief, in progress, and timely, untimely response. And also here, timely response, whether the timely response was given or not, and the consumer disputed, whether the consumer disputed, yes or no. In certain cases, yes, you have no, and you have NA, not available. That means information is not available yet. Okay, so this is the data. Where you can find this data? Well, this link is also present. What I'm using is data here from this hash RWFT, real world fake data. And you can see you have multiple data sets, and the data set I'm using today is the financial complaints, financial consumer complaints data set, right? You can go in here in this data world. I will provide this link as well, where you can go ahead and download this data set. Okay, with that, let's move on and do a step-by-step review of this dashboard. Well, first thing first, you need to decide or figure out what type of metric that you need to create or KPIs that you need to create. So that's what I basically noted down by looking at the data, that what type of KPIs I want to show in comparison, if there is any comparison or any trend that I need to show. All of that I first wrote it down before creating the dashboard, all these metrics and everything that makes sense. Also, before I jump onto the Power BI, I basically create the wireframe in my textbook. So simply I am picking up my pencil and my blank notebook, which does not have any line or anything. It's like a blank paper, A4 size paper or anything. And I start putting down that, okay, this is my metric. Is this making sense? Is this or this making sense? So after 3-4 iteration, I come here and then put all of this on a canvas, because putting things on a canvas and configuration may take time, and basically we cannot compare one design with another design. So that's what I do, and just wanted to share some best practices to when I create anything or when I want to show anything, what do I do prior to that. And in many previous videos I have not explained about it, but I just thought it's an important information and maybe helpful for you as well. Okay, so I went ahead with the dark theme, and here if you see the background that I have selected, and over here you have this visualization. So nothing is selected. When let's say you are starting blank, then you need to go in format. You have the page information and page background, page size. So page background, I have like dark black color, right, with no transparency or anything, so that I can show a little bit lighter black component, so that they will be coming or emerging as a separate tile within the dashboard. So very first thing what I created is the title. What I took is this text box, as you can see, and I created this title. It is using this font and this is the size, and I made it bold, right? The second thing was, if I outside, was this filter. Now filter is an important part, because whatever we are using it as a filter, then down there you may not want to choose it as a visualization because it will be singled out. So filter is also very strategic, because this filter basically shows that the dashboard that we are creating is for the product organization mostly, or anyone who is interested based on the product performance. So this is related to the consumer complaint, and these are the different products. So it's like how many complaints are coming in mortgage, what is the performance, student loan product, credit card or prepaid card, all of these categories of product which is there. So that's something very important and strategic that you need to take care. And slicer is present here, as you can see the slicer, and in the slicer we are making sure that I am using the drop down instead of list. Okay, and in the for this filter we have to change the background and all, as you can see. So first thing first, we have removed the background so that it is becoming part of the title itself. And then you have this title. I have title which I have put it like a font color which is light gray, as you can see. Items background, I have kept it black, right? The background is black and the font color is this, and it is not the complete black, it is this black, not the absolute dark black, right? And here is the text size. So that is the configuration I just want to show you in case you want to replicate this, right? Next thing is these component. This is nothing but these are the boxes. If you go into the insert, and within insert you have this add shape to your project. I am using this shape. I just created one shape, right, and replicated everywhere. And as you can see, if I show you the shape, if it ever allow me to select for this shape, again you have this fill. Fill is nothing but this black, 20% lighter black, what I'm showing. That way on the dark black it is coming as the tile or a KPI time. Now in that you have one more text box which is complaints, right? So this is nothing but the complaints count 7177, and 7177 is basically your KPI. So this one, I have selected this card, as you can see, and I have done nothing but I have chosen the complaint. So complaint is nothing but your complaint ID, if I come here, this one, complaint ID, as you can see, is selected. So that is what it is being shown over here. And again, the formatting is also similar. If I come here, you have this, no, nothing is title. Word wrap is enabled, but we don't have anything as such as word wrap. We have this data label and what type of color. So this is basically a color that I am basically choosing, white, 10% darker, right, for this and each of these KPIs. So what we are showing is the complaint. We are showing this, and I'm showing the text size 40, right? And you may also get basically the title. I think this was nothing but category, but the title, what it shows. So we have switched off the title. Otherwise, it just keeps showing you. So it's the same formatting. What I've done, I'm just trying to show you what I have done in the KPI. And once I have done it, the one setting in the KPI in this, I have replicated it here so that I can simply change the value or the field and not change the information. Now in this KPI, I'm showing the trend also, just to give a high level idea whether the trend is increasing, decreasing, or what. So if you select this, what you get is basically a visualization, which is a line visualization. As you can see, line chart, I have just reduced the width, and it is date submitted year. So here is the date hierarchy, date submitted, right? If it is not coming as the proper hierarchy, just go in here in the data tab and select this date submitted, and basically change the data type to date. So in my case also it was coming as text, so I changed it to date, and then the hierarchy was coming. So here is a quick trend, and it will give user an idea, okay, whether the trend is increasing, decreasing, or what it is. All right. Now in this also some formatting is going on. As you can see, you have the formatting, which is there is no x-axis, there is no y-axis, there is no title also. So generally title is enabled, but title I have switched it off. Similarly for y-axis, I have switched off both axis as well as title. And then you have the data color. So we have made it like what blue is what it's being shown over here. And if you see, this blue is consistent everywhere as well. And there is no label or anything. So that's a quick setting. And background also, you need to switch it off. So if I remove the axis, you see that background is switched off, right? So nothing will come, but it will feel like you are having one shape. Now, this is an interesting figure where comparison is happening. So what it is showing you is the metric, the percentage consent given by the customer. So for this category debt collection, you have 14% as a consent given versus what is a company overall 7.12. So it's a comparison we want to show against the company average. Are you doing good or bad, right? So you have debt collection, or you have, let's say, checking savings account, so you are near to the company level, or bank or service, very lower than company. So depends on whether this is lower or higher, it indicates whether you are doing good or bad. So it quickly gives an idea as to these are all the different categories, but also overall at a company level how you are doing. So let's discuss about this particular measure. So this measure is percent consent provided. So if you see, percent consent provided is basically I am using the DAX formula, and that was one of the requests as well from one of the user that please create a dashboard that is using the DAX formulas. So here is your request fulfilled. At least I'm not using very advanced, but some DAX formulas which you would see that you can use it. All right. So financial complaint consent provided total. Again, this is also a formula. Consent provided total for product divided by the overall complaints, right? So count of consent provided total for product. So consent provided total for product is this one, right? Which is nothing but under the calculate, you are saying that sum of financial complaint divided by all of the complaint, right? Where the consent is provided divided by all the complaint, right? So consent provided is nothing but this one. Consent provided is a column. Column is saying if financial consumer complaint is consent provided, then 1, otherwise 0. So then we can take a sum of all the ones and calculate that. And that is what then we have created here one more, where we are selecting every consent that is being provided and then using it over here in this consent provided percentage. If you see consent provided total for product, divide by count of consent provided total for product, and which is this one. So this is nothing but a quick measure that is being created to basically for all the complaints. So here the consumer consent provided, the total is being taken, and using the all selected, we are saying that select all the values which is there in the product, right? So don't basically create an impact of this. So once we have this calculation, so make sure you note that calculation and do this. First thing first is you will need to create consent provided column. After that, consent provided total for product, right? And consent and count of consent provided total for product. And this is something which is being created with the help of your DAX formula. Now you have one more calculation which is down there, and it is the company overall total, and this total is saying total percentage consent given, right? So that's where we need to have at company level. This is impacted by filter. As you can see, if I change this credit card and all, this will change, but this should not change 7.12. So what it is basically, if I select this, you get total percent consent given. So you have total percent consent given, and here also this formula is based on a DAX formula, two different DAX formulas. So first we are taking the financial consumer complaint total consent provided, right? So where is the total consent provided is here is another measure. So if I click over here, so total consent provided, it has to be overall at company level. So we are saying, okay, create a new measure, total consent provided, use the calculate, and first, sum all of the values where the consent was provided. And if you remember, I had just told you that this is our base column where we are saying if the consent is provided, then take 1, and we can take a sum to capture all the consent that is being provided, and that is what happening over here. Sum of all the consent provided divide by all except. That means using this function, we are removing the impact of filter on this particular field, which is consumer consent provided question mark. So consumer consent provided question mark is a field which is containing all the values. That means where the consent is provided divided by all the values of whether consent provided, not provided. That will give you a company level percentage. And exactly the same thing is happening here and here as well, right? So that's something I want to then give you as the you can take this up as the exercise, where we have this total consent provided calculation, and for this percentage, apart from the total consent provided, you have total consent and non-consent. So over here, total consent and non-consent, which is again, you have the count of total consent provided, right? Again, this field, total consumer consent provided. We are removing the impact to get all the values of the consumer consent provided. Again, same field, we are putting it over here. So that's the reason I'm just showing you here everything step by step. You will going to get the same calculation done. Once you have these two calculation created, the total consent provided, this calculation, and total consent and non-consent, that means almost everything, then you go ahead and divide this value. If I do it in one function or one calculation, it will be very big. That's why I've reduced it, right? Similarly, it is happening over here. This calculation is relatively simple, 12K, which is total monetary relief. So over here, if you see total monetary relief, the very same calculation, calculate sum of monetary relief, wherever the monetary relief is given. So monetary relief is nothing. We are calculating this base column. Where is that monetary? There you go. Monetary relief by calculating a if condition. So this is the column we are creating. If financial consumer complaint is closed with monetary relief, that means if the category value only the closed with monetary relief, then say 1, otherwise 0. So monetary relief is being captured, and then you are basically using here in this function the same column that give me the sum of monetary relief, and then remove the impact of filter using the all except function. Specify first the table and then this company response to consumer, and company response to consumer is nothing but your this one field which you are getting directly from the table itself. So make sure you make a note of this calculation, and since it is not a percentage, so we are not doing divide. However, over here again we are doing consumer disputed. So consumer disputed is again what we are showing over here. So total consumer, total percentage consumer disputed is again the here total percentage consumer disputed, again the divide what we did it over here. So this is the KPI that I'm creating, and if you see this versus is nothing but a small text box with 11 as a size and yellow as the font color, and there is no background. So that's something I wanted to show you very slowly, how I have created these KPIs and put it here with the alignment, proper alignment as it is coming. Now, very simple and very straightforward, I have created this bar chart. As you can see, this is this clustered bar chart where on the axis you have subproduct. Where is the subproduct? Here you go. And the complaint ID, because I want this to be filtered. So I can choose anything like, for example, debt collection or anything, and this is what it is coming. Second thing is, what are the top 10 issues? At least, those top 10 issues is something. If I select this, value is top 10 issues. I have renamed it. However, in the filters, I have done the condition. Condition is that if I expand this, you have top 10 by complaint ID. I'm showing the top 10 values of what? Complaint ID. So complaint ID is here based on the aggregation, based on where the more complaint ID is present, we are showing the top 10 issues. And top 10 issues is basically is your text field. You have issues, you have sub issues, and I think if I just put it here, it is the issue field. So issue field is where? There you go, issue field, right? But the only thing is we are only showing top 10 by complaint ID. So wherever the complaint mode, that means more frequency is there for these type of issues, it is being shown. Next, if I just remove that, again the formatting and everything is pretty much similar. The background, and here I'm using the table over here, the table. So the background is basically the same. If you see, color, right? And we are not showing any field or any headers or anything. Also over here you have these top 10 issues and all, which we are formatting. Similarly, we are going here in the complaint ID by state. Again, you have this cluster chart. I'm showing all the states, not the top 10 or top 5. That way, you can basically do whatever comparison end user may want to do that. So scroll bar is present to move up and down. Nothing but your state field is here, and complaint ID, the count of the sum of complaint ID. I think the count, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, count. Okay. So with that, you get this, and we are, as you can see, changing the labels and all. So data labels is this grayish color, which is this one. If I'm not wrong, I think this one or this one. You can experiment with whatever is making sense. And even with the y-axis title, as you can see, it is enabled, and the color we are using, the dark gray. Okay, with that, again, this component I'll just cover also very quickly. It's nothing but this donut chart, as you can see over here. And in the donut chart, what we are doing is nothing but we are saying by which medium the complaint has been submitted. So definitely by web, most of the complaints have been submitted, like 74.3%, then by referral, then by post mail, and so on and so forth. The only thing which I have done in this case is change the background color, increase the title, which is present here, title and background color. Also the data color, I have just make sure that I'm using the consistent blue, darker, lighter versions of the blue. And then I have further expanded this chart just so that it is related over here, year over year, how the trend is really looking like. So you can see 2013, 14, 15, and you have these, each of the submitted via categories. So all of these submitted via categories is being shown over here, which then you can basically create or basically show whether it is increasing or decreasing. As you can see, in some cases it is decreasing, even if you see complaint showing you the decreasing trend from 2018. So it's a good relief, and probably a story you want to project maybe to your senior management as to whatever action they are taking, or the field is taking, or company is taking, is going in the good direction, and we are seeing the declining trend, right? So that's something I wanted to give as part of this overall, but by year as well, just so that both the narrative, both the perspective is present there. So with that, our dashboard is over. Like we are not there in 30 minutes, but trust me, it took me like multiple times. I have taken it up, but in 3 days I have been working on that, just on the what should be the view, what should be the metrics, filters, all these calculations and everything, and finally it is in front of you. So let me know if you have any questions about this. I know I have gone through this relatively very quickly as compared to the previous dashboard, but whole idea is that I am not repeating or creating the same components again and again, which I have already shown you. So if you are consistently watching my videos on the practice, then, and if you have created those dashboard like sales or sales performance, customer performance, Twitter tweet analysis, then all of these components are very easy. And that's why at the start I told you, you look at those videos first, because this one I want you to be also a little bit, I want to save your time, I want to save my time, and what I want to give you is just the proper context, proper information, and not like same thing repeating again and again. Let me know if you don't like it, let me know in the comments, or if you like it, let me know in the comments. I will just get to know what usually the feedback is, your feedback is. But yeah, I want to basically, in the last time, I want to give you maximum output so that you can easily create it. With that, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know how do you find this design, and I'm planning also to save it somewhere, so as a template, if it is needed, you can use this. So with that, thank you so much, and I'll meet you in the next video with a new topic.